This is hypnotic authenticity. This is a space for inner clarity, where hypnosis meets self-inquiry, where the stories that you carry can become gentle invitations for change. We're going to explore identity, emotional harmony, and authentic living through subtle, mindful approaches and a really, really good sprinkling of hypnosis. So take a slow, deep breath, and let's begin. I want to ask you a question today which goes to the heart of your ability to accept yourself, your ability to feel a sense of virtue or self-esteem about yourself, and therefore your ability to pursue your higher goals. The question is, how do you see your fellow man? In fact, how do you see the rest of the world? Do you see the world as a benevolent place? That people, your fellow countrymen, is intrinsically all right? That he or she may be running on their own rails, they may have their own thoughts, their own goals, they may come to conclusions which are different from your conclusions, but basically they're trying to make their life work based upon the understanding that they have. Or do you think that other people potentially are out to get you, that there is a power play going on, and that there are winners and losers in the pecking order of society, and so you need to keep your guard about yourself to make sure that you stay safe? Because the conclusions that I came to was that unless you can see your fellow man as intrinsically good, you're not able to see yourself and fully accept yourself. So let me explain to you why I came to this conclusion, because this was quite illuminating for me. So it came because, in actual fact, someone made me a very generous offer. And the offer was, would I like to receive a stone that would keep me protected against bad people? And let's not get into the whole metaphysics of it, but I guess the offer was, if I carry this stone around me, then its vibrational energy or its aura or whatever will somehow or other protect me from dark individuals, malintended individuals. And my kind of natural conclusion to that was, well, thank you very much. It's a very nice thing for you to offer. It's clearly coming from a place of love, but I prefer to maintain the view that in actual fact the world's a benevolent place, that people are intrinsically good. And that got me thinking afterwards. It's like, well, why have I come to that conclusion? Because patently, if you look at the news, it's not entirely true, right? There's a lot of bad things going on pretty much every day of the year. So let me walk you through this one. So if we start from a perspective of what is self-acceptance, okay? So self-acceptance is, I am me. I have grown up the way I have grown up. I have had the experiences that I have had. I have come to conclusions based around those experiences, which lead me to certain wants, to certain goals, to certain needs, to certain fears, which dictate the way that I perceive events today and dictate the way that I choose to take actions. And that if I look back upon my past, some of those actions have turned out to be all right. Some of them have turned out to be mistaken. Some of them were good but ended up with having unintended consequences. Some of them just kind of worked out. So there's a whole soup, there's a whole range of responses, but that in those actions that I took at all of those moments of events in the past, I kind of did so with the best of intention. Whether they went well or badly, I was unable to say, but I kind of tried my best. And I'm a flawed member of the human race, and so is everybody else. And once you can start to look at yourself from that perspective, then that's where you get self-acceptance. And as soon as you can do that to yourself, well, then it's a very, very easy step to look at everybody else in the universe and go, I'm kind of doing the same. And so therefore, Everybody's coming up with their own conclusions, some of which are good, some of which are bad. But, that's my perspective and their perspective. They're coming up with the conclusions that make sense for them, that are driving actions that make sense for them, that end up having consequences for them and for others, some of which are intended, some of which are unintended, and so on until the butterfly flaps its wings in Tokyo. But clearly, some of those events, some of those actions, from my moral compass, are abhorrent. But to the individual, at that time, it met a need. They were not violating their goals. The reasons why they came to those goals had a history. You can see it and you can draw conclusions as to how that person came to that point. And, ultimately kind of, but for the grace of God, go I. And anybody with a similar set of experiences maybe could have ended up with a similar conclusion. And so you end up with this kind of question as, well, what on earth is good and what on earth is bad? And who am I to say versus them? And then we get to this point, well, effectively society chooses, right? And we come to a group think decision as to what we consider to be good or bad. And then that's how we develop culture and so on. But at its core, if you can keep the perspective that through that whole process, people are trying to meet their needs. They're not going to violate their needs, and that they, things are going to go right or things are going to go wrong. That means that everybody else is your comrade. Everybody else is your brother in arm. And society is okay. And when society is okay, well, then you can start to look at your own actions in a slightly different way. So let's go to Tony Robbins, okay? Human needs. So human needs, according to Tony Robbins, are conflicted, and our basic human needs are to feel significant, but also to feel connected. Those two kind of pull in different directions. To feel safe, but to also have variety. Those two pull in different directions. And once you've got those four kind of penned down to the best of your ability, then the two higher needs are growth and contribution. So personal growth, and then the ability to contribute back to society. Now, let's take the example of me doing these videos on YouTube, okay? So it's a bit scary to do these videos on YouTube. I'm kind of exposing my heart. Yeah, I'm exposing my thoughts. I'm potentially standing myself up to be judged or to be ridiculed. Why am I doing that? This is the contribution side. So it feels right. It feels as though I might be able to help my fellow man in some way or other by contributing. But it's a scary thing to contribute because people might laugh. So it takes courage. Where does the courage come from? The courage comes from my own sense of self-acceptance, self-esteem, and a certain kind of value to myself. Where does that come from? It comes from the idea that, yes, I do have something to contribute. But in order to be able to see that as something of value, it has to be meaningful to me, which has to mean that the people that I am contributing to, that society that I am contributing to, is generally good and that it's going to benefit from it. If I see society or individuals as intrinsically malaligned, devious, potentially dangerous, well, then the whole concept of contributing to that falls away. And it is through contributing that you discover your higher self, that you lean towards your higher self. You strive to improve yourself. When I put these videos out, in some strange way, I am striving to improve myself by offering up this little bit of knowledge, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, in the hope that certain individuals kind of benefit from it and that the world becomes a nicer place as a result. That all comes ultimately from the idea that the world is a decent place and that the people that inhabit the world are intrinsically all right, that they are as all right as I am all right and that we're all on a level playing field. Does that make sense? So basically what I'm saying is that your view of other people is a mirror on your view of yourself. And when I say that, I get a shiver down my spine. So what is going on? It's like we're all in this as a unity. And the only way to come to make friends with yourself is by making friends with the universe. And that could potentially mean being economical with the truth that you tell yourself. But deliberately, by choosing so, in order to maintain a benevolent view of your fellow man and accepting that we're flawed human beings. Does that make sense? So my conclusion, if you're considering other people as being potentially dangerous to you, treat that as a red flag. That means that there are elements of yourself that you are still unable to accept. And that once you accept that inside of yourself, then you'll be able to accept it in other people too. I think that's absolutely fantastic as an indicator, because it's the thing which stops you, which gets in the way of you reaching your higher self, your higher purpose, your sense of belonging in the universe, your sense of inner peace, your sense that you belong, the sense of being at home, and your ability to strive ever forward towards a better you. Ta-da! I hope that's of interest. Let me know in the comments down below, or send me an email, or check out my website and communicate. I would love to hear back from you. I hope that's food for thought. All right, cheers, bye. Thank you for listening. If it supported you in some way or helped you to question your inner experience, then follow the show. Personally, I would be really grateful if you might also leave a quick rating. It makes a huge difference in terms of discoverability so that other people who might benefit can find the podcast. If you prefer a visual element, check out Authentic Life Hypnosis on YouTube. And if you're looking for deeper work beyond one-way audio yourself, you're very welcome to reach out. Equally, if you have any questions, I'm here to help. Until next time.